ladies and gentlemen, today I'm here to talk about the young adult novel Ask the Passengers by A.S. King. This was published in 2012 and was A.S. King's fourth novel. Silly little side note, upon having this book in my possession for quite some time, I realized that if you remove the spaces and the periods in this pen name, you get the word asking. I'm probably the last person on earth to realize that, so we'll move on. Ask the Passengers follows our main character Astrid Jones, philosophy-loving, literary magazine editing, part-time caterer, and high school student in small-town America. Very early on in the novel, we learn that two of Astrid's best friends, who are on their way to being homecoming king and queen, are having Astrid keep a very important secret for them. They're gay. They're afraid to come out in this small-town high school. She is in a dysfunctional family with an agoraphobic, workaholic mother, a father who can't really hold down a job, so deals with his stress in a slightly unhealthy way that leads to him being pretty zoned out, and Astrid is fully aware of, and a little sister who seems to be fitting in just fine in small-town America. Astrid, on the other hand, doesn't feel like she fits in here. When she was 9 years old, her family picked up from the hustling, bustling New York City to this small town. All the while, Astrid is dealing with and questioning her own sexuality, and perhaps even starting a secret relationship with a girl. Perhaps my favorite part of her character is that in her spare time, in order to deal with all of these things, she enjoys laying in her backyard and watching airplanes pass by. She does this so that she can send all of the love that she can muster up to these passengers, oftentimes asking advice and questions of these people as well. And that leads me into one of my favorite parts of this book, and it is this mild form of magical realism that is in this novel. We get snippets from the passengers whom receive the love that Astrid sends. In some ways they are affected, or it's as if they can hear the questions that Astrid is asking. Another really great thing about this novel is the way that A.S. King dealt with LGBT issues. I feel like a lot of YA novels that deal with LGBT issues, or issues in general, make the novel more about the issue than the people themselves, and that wasn't what this was at all. I really loved Astrid, but I think it had a lot to do with a quote that I read from A.S. King when asked about her characters. She said, "Some people don't know if my characters are crazy or if they are experiencing something magical. I think that's an accurate description of how I feel every day." And having that little piece of information when approaching this novel and the characters within it really added to the experience. Although this was an enjoyable reading experience, I did have three small problems with this novel. One being that I felt like the small town stereotypes were slightly exaggerated to kind of make the story work better. Perhaps it's only my personal experience with small towns, and I've been fortunate not to ever experience the kind of brainwashing that kind of happens in that kind of small town community. But I also felt that overall the novel ended in a very tidy and neat way. It just felt too neat and tidy. And the last problem that I had with it is more of a genre problem than anything else. I felt that while Astrid and her family had problems, it was still very kind of surface level problems, like very first world American white family problems. But for what this novel was, it was a very enjoyable experience, and I feel like I read this book at just the right time. And I will definitely be reading more A.S. King in the future, so if you have recommendations of other books by A.S. King, please let me know in the comments. And in conclusion, I would recommend this book to any fan of contemporary young adult literature, especially those that deal with LGBT issues, or just anyone who enjoys a contemporary with a little bit of whimsy. If you have read Ask the Passengers, please let me know what you thought about it in the comments below, and thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you very soon with a new video.